ASMR. I hope you're all doing well today. Today, I'm going to be reading the rest of The Gifted Storyteller for you all until you fall asleep. So, I hope you guys enjoy. Chapter 5: The Storyteller Confronted. I walk into the bar, which is a bit on the quiet side. Tonight, I quickly scan the tables, but I don't see her. Who was I kidding anyway? Maybe it's still early. Maybe she'll be here later. I order a drink and people watch for a while. I've always loved people watching to see what they do, who they talk to, what they look like talking to each other, and of course to check out potential dates. I remember when I was younger watching football games, but not so much this way that my dad and others watched. Every now and again, I'd stare at the crowd of 80,000 people and be in awe that each person in the stands at their own life, their own job, their own family, etc. It blew my mind, but it still does even as I look around the bar. All these people leading different lives with different stories. After more than 2 hours and a handful of drinks, it's time to give up. She's not coming, and I was a fool for thinking she would. Jeez, how many times have I done this before? Waited for the girl, thinking that I'm a romantic guy in the movies, and she'll be so happy I'm here and just melt in my arms. Screw it. A bit drunk, I throw on my jacket and walk outside. The evening still has life. People are walking around. Streetlights cast shadows of excitement and possibility. Am I really just going to go home now? Is that it? And then I see her, leaning against a car, looking right at me and smiling. I smile back and I walk over to her. How are you, Jeannie? Seriously, she says, shaking her head in disapproval. What? I say in a laughing, yet slightly shocked tone. You don't learn, do you? How long were you waiting outside for me? She says with an angered tone. I quickly realize this is not melting in my arms 80s love story moment, and I put my head slightly down. About 2 hours, I say. Continuing to shake her head, Jeannie says, and how much storytelling went on up there. Again, pointing to my forehead. I don't know what to say, I just thought. Exactly the problem, storyteller. You just keep thinking and making things up. I don't exactly like that last comment and I start getting annoyed. No offense, but what's your problem? I don't have a problem, Michael. You do. And I think about it each time we deal with it before you lose even more time. You just spent 2 hours waiting for a girl you're imagining to be God knows what, helpless, strong, wanting to fall in love, your perfect match, whatever, and then getting mad at me because I'm not playing along with the intention in your mind of who you are imagining me to be. Does that make sense? What the heck, Jeannie? Who are you? I told you I am, Michael. Answer my question. Does that make sense? I'm silent for a moment, trying to figure out what's going on here. A bit drunk and a bit confused, I give in. No. Her face and voice soften. Thank you. And honestly, how many times have you done this before with how many women? Can you even give me a number? How many times have you done it with people in general? With work, creating stories in your mind, imagining things to be or as supposed to be a certain way, and then getting mad when it doesn't match your expectation. And worse, then when the anger is gone, becoming sad or depressed about it. Or what about your reaction? How many times? Give me a number. Still in shock, I reply in a soft voice. I don't know, I can't. She continues. Listen, Michael, this has been your life for a very long time. This is why you go through your highs and your lows. You can continue on this path, or perhaps you can decide it's time to grow. Standing speechless, I have no idea what the heck is going on. My mind races with questions. Who is this woman, and how does she know so much about me? Why does she think that she can talk to me like this, and why am I letting her? Michael, she says in a soft whisper, stop it, you're starting again. I stare at her with that realization. She's right. I look in her eyes without saying a word or thinking a thought. All of a sudden, her face lights up with a huge smile. Finally, now you're getting it. She leans over, gives me a kiss on the cheek, and stands back. I smile really big. Whoa, don't get excited, she says. I did that because of your language of acceptance, not mine. And with that last comment, she turns and walks off, leaving me standing alone in a complete daze. Chapter 6: The Ocean. I wake in the next morning in a bit of a fog. What the heck happened last night? Holding my head and rubbing my hair, I start recollecting. I remember the bar. I guess I drank a bit too much. I remember walking out of the bar. Jeannie, that conversation. No, you can't call that a conversation. Just the things she said. Who says stuff like that? And how does she know me so well? Wait, where did she go? I remember her walking off. What happened after that? Think, Michael, think. I really can't recall, but obviously I made it home, changed, and went to sleep. As I start my morning routine, I remember some of what she said, that I create stories in my mind about how people should be, and then get upset at them when they don't match up with my story. And what exactly did she mean by saying that kiss was my language? It's a lot to absorb, and I find myself feeling a bit heavy and weighed down as a result of these thoughts. I take a deep breath and look around me. Well, it's Sunday and I have the day free. What should I do? I definitely need to sort through what happened, and I don't have any plans. I think I'll go to the beach today and enjoy some suns and waves. I'll spend some time with myself, relax, and take a me day. Excited at the thought, I whip up a quick breakfast, leave my apartment, and walk to my car. While driving, I can't help but wonder. Jeannie and their comments. Who is this girl? She's gorgeous, mysterious, doesn't seem to take any crap, and knows more about me than I perhaps do. While I may not like it, she's right about what she said. I do spend a lot of time thinking about things. No, it's not the thinking about things, it's the storytelling that she was referring to that I spend a lot of time doing. Like she asked, I can't even begin to count the number of stories I've created in my head. I do this every day, I think. It scares me because I've never noticed it before. I definitely need to find out who this girl is and speak to her more. Only this time, I think my reasons for wanting to speak to the hot woman I met at the bar are a little different than they were in the past. How does she know so much? As I pull up to the beach, park the car, and get out, a feeling overtakes me. I love that feeling when you're excited about something ahead. There's sunshine, freedom, a day that's yours to embrace. The feeling is overwhelming. I walk towards the beach and stand where you start seeing the sand on the floor, overlaying the wooden path that takes you to the beach. I stop for a moment and take my socks and shoes off to feel the worn, sun-baked wood under my feet. I continue walking along the old wooden path and descend to the stairs. I pause and soak in that first moment when my feet sink into the warm sand and my toes disappear with each step. I can feel my body heating up from the warmth of the sun and the smell of the combination of water and suntan lotion carried on the light breeze from the ocean. Bluish-green waves rush to the shore, and kids run from the waves. Their screams and laughter bring a smile Thanks. On the surface, sunlight hits the water, warming it, but in deep breaths there is cold darkness, untouched by the sky. Sun yet lit by the fish that swim in it as they create their own luminescence. The position of the water on the earth, the pull of the moon's gravity, as well as the earth's own gravity, creates a constant push-pull and struggle within the ocean, and it affects its entire being. On the surface, the waves, the individual waves generated by all this movement, are sometimes calm and peaceful, other times ferocious. The ocean, a mirror of the universe, a giant body of water or energy that has this inner world of struggle. All these factors affect its life. My thoughts continue. I realize that people have similar chaos happening inside our bodies as well. Bacteria, viruses, blood flowing, heart pumping faster and slower due to the way we move our bodies, organs filtering, cells colliding, dividing, regenerating. Each person has a universe within, like an ocean. Each action and emotion is an effect and then becomes the next cause. There is one harmonious balance of chaos and order to all that is happening, yet on the surface, all we see is a face when we pass someone on the street, without any thought of the ocean they experience within. I hear Jeannie's voice in my head again. What does it mean, Michael? I think for a moment, perhaps a person is an individual wave, one expression of all that's happening around them, unconscious to the fact that they are being influenced by so much inside and their surrounding water. Perhaps one ocean is an entire ocean in and of themselves as well. Can we be both the ocean and the wave at the same time? Each wave is individual, but each wave is still part of the ocean. As a wave rises, it appears separate, but then sinks back into the whole. Is that what we are like as people? Each comment and action one person makes to another moves that person in a direction in life. Is this our life? The same as how one wave pushes another? Is each individual for a brief time affected by other people in a domino effect? Do we move along our journey until we sink back into the ocean, completely a part of a whole, but seemingly individual for a brief moment of time? Is the ocean God, the universe? The thought blows my mind, and I can't imagine Jeannie smiling at me with that same smile she gave me last night when I came to an understanding. I hear her voice. Michael, this is how your mind should be used to generate understanding of why you are here and how it all works. In time, you will understand what to do with all you learn. My thoughts are shattered by sand kicking my face. Two little kids run past me laughing and playing. I take a moment to realize where I am and draw in a deep breath. I stand up and look at the waves rolling in and away from the shore. The sound of them somehow speaks with me, and each crash along the shoreline as if confirming that I now understand. The ocean is different now. It's taken on a new meaning. I gather my belongings and walk to my car, feeling a little happy and lost, as if a sudden hidden truth was just revealed to me and I need time to digest it. I check my phone for the time and notice a message from Sierra. Had a great time with you. Meet today at Randazzo's at 5. Well, that's a kickback to reality. It's 3:30 p.m. I still have time to head home, wash up, and meet her. I'm starting to get excited at the thought. This could be a phenomenal night. Alright guys, Chapter 7, The Dream Girl. When I get home, I take a shower and get ready for the evening. I can't believe she texted me. I'm super excited. My mind races about what the night might be like. Perhaps a few drinks, some food. I'll ask her to come back to my place, I think, smiling. I better clean up a little just in case. Once I'm done cleaning, I get dressed. Before leaving, I look back at my apartment, making sure it looks presentable, and then walk to my car. While driving, I think about Sierra, the afternoon, and the possible night ahead. I think about all those times I've walked into the office and hoped this would happen. I thought about this moment so many times. I think she and I will really hit it off. Who knows what will come of it? I think in a dreamlike state. She's an amazing woman, and I can't wait to see what happens. I also think more about my revelation about the ocean and life, which naturally leads me to Jeannie. Should I be going to the bar again to see if she's there? I'm still It's not like me to not remember. After a short drive, I pull up and park in the front of Randazzo's. Just before I'm about to get out, something catches my eye on the floor of the car. I notice what looks like a business card by my feet. How come I didn't see this before? I reach down and pick it up. When I look back at it, I can't help but smile. Scribbled on the back it reads, "Less storytelling, less drinking, Jay." So Jeannie drove me home. I turn the card over and on the front it reads, "Jeannie Park, consultant and life coach. Illuminating Reflections, Gifted Storyteller, LLC." No website, no phone. What kind of business card is this? Then again, I've never met anyone like her, so why should I expect her business card to be normal? I wonder when I will see her again. How will I track her down? Maybe I will stop by the bar again later, depending on how things go tonight with... I glance at the time. It's after 5 p.m. Sierra, I'm late. Running inside, I look around the restaurant. Sierra is sitting at a table by the window, waving at me. I walk over. "Hi, Sierra." "Hi, Michael. I started to wonder if you were coming," she says as she takes a sip of her drink. "I actually got here early, but I got lost in thought in my car." She smiles and laughs with a wave of her hand. "It happens to me all the time. It's perfectly normal." I laugh too, a bit relieved. That's quite different from what Jeannie would say. When the waitress comes over, we order some amazing seafood and have a great time talking. She tells me about herself, about her friends, about the fact that she is a receptionist at an office as a temporary position until she decides what to do next, which might be going back to school or pursuing acting. Overall, it is a light evening, which is pleasant after the past few days. I mostly sit and listen as we drink and eat. I actually don't say much at all. I enjoy the relaxation of the evening, but at the same time it feels a little shallow compared to recent days. I realize after spending some time with her that she's not exactly what I imagine her to be, though she is still very beautiful and sweet. As we finish up dinner, she gives me a warm smile and tells me how great I am, so I ask her if she wants to hang out a little bit more. She says sure, but reminds me that we have to work tomorrow. As we stand to leave and exit the restaurant, she says it's getting kind of cool and asks if we could stop at her place first so she could get a sweater. Of course, I say yes. I get in my car and follow her home, realizing she doesn't live too far from me. When we go to her apartment, I take a seat on the sofa. She walks to her bedroom to grab a sweater and then asks me if I want to drink before we head out. She hands me a bottle of wine to open and 2 glasses. As we drink, we continue talking, or rather, she does mostly. After she finishes her first glass of wine, she is quite flirtatious, and without hesitation, she leans in to kiss me. Chapter 8. Not the story I imagined. Around midnight, and after several hours of fun, Sierra gets out of bed and puts on her robe. Still lying in bed quite comfortably with my hands behind my head, as if I've conquered the world, I smile at her with satisfaction regarding the evening's activities. Abruptly, she looks at me. "We both have to get up early. You should get going." she says hi, she goes right back to whatever she was doing. This isn't how I envisioned things would be. I always thought she and I would have had something special, and suddenly, like a smack in the head, I remember what Jeannie said. This is what storytelling gets you, when you make things up that aren't real and then get upset when they don't turn out as expected. She was right. Again, how much of my life have I spent doing this? Storytelling. There I go again. Wow, it's debilitating. I start to feel a sharp wave of sadness and heaviness, and all because I imagine things to be a certain way and they aren't. Those thoughts weren't based in reality. I'm starting to truly understand what Jeannie means. I do this to myself daily. Does everyone? When I arrive at my desk, I shake my thoughts, switch on my computer, and go about the usual business. I don't know exactly how I fell in this job. I guess I'm good with numbers and computers. It's also kind of brainless and a bit boring, but it pays the bills, so I keep on keeping on, as the song goes. The day flies by, and I walk out of my office at the usual time, noticing Sierra must have already left. She never stopped by to see me during the day and didn't even say goodbye. Gives me another dose of reality. As I get into my car and head over to the hospital to see Pop, when I get there, I take a slight detour and stop by my favorite tree. I grab a seat on the bench and stare at it for a while. It's mesmerizing and beautiful. From behind me, I hear a female voice say, "I agree, it's fascinating." I recognize the voice from the last time I was sitting here by the tree. Without turning around, I say, "Yes, it is. What do you find fascinating about it?" The voice replies, "It's fascinating in the same way the ocean is, Michael." I freeze at the realization. Jeannie. I quickly turn around, and standing behind me is Jeannie, dressed in more formal attire than I'm used to seeing her in. She's smiling at me. "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" I ask, pleasantly surprised. "I volunteer here by speaking to a group of the medical professionals. It's important to help others in life, so I do it whenever I can, even if only for a little while." I pause and stare at her before I thank her for driving me home the other night. She smiles. "You are in no condition to drive, and as I said, it's important to help people." She looks away from me and back at the tree. "Don't get off topic here, Michael. How is the tree like the ocean?" "How did you know about my thoughts on the ocean?" She smiles. "Look at the tree, Michael." I turn back around and stare at the tree. I look at its solid trunk, which extends into branches of all sizes and then has smaller branches off of each bigger branch and repeats again. On each branch I notice the leaves, each basically the same shape with different sizes, but facing in different directions and angles. As the wind blows, the tree branches sway, and each bigger branch sways, the smaller branches on its way, followed by the leaves, which blow in different directions based on the angle they are facing. Some of the leaves fold, some fall, and others, depending on where they are on the branch and their size, barely move. I also realize that the position of the leaves and how they blow affect how the branches blow. Not a one feeling I get when using the word amazing. While we may share a similar definition, it is not exactly the same. It's important to communicate with people, especially those closest to you, in their language. If you truly pay attention to someone and listen, you will hear their word use in their language and learn how to talk to them. Makes sense? Staring at her in awe, I say, Jeannie, seriously, who are you? Where did you come from? You are not like anyone else I have ever met, and you seem to connect with me really well. Smiling, she says, I'm here for business for a few weeks, but as far as you go, just say I'm a friend here to help you in any way that you need help. Smiling back at her, you're more like an angel. She laughs. I'll take that as a compliment. I have to get back to work now. I'm glad you're starting to understand. Understand? Understand what? Understand what you've been trying to understand for a long time, she says in a soft, confirming tone. As she turns to go, I rapidly ask, wait, can we go somewhere to talk? Or can I buy you dinner? Not tonight. As she walks away, I scream out, how can I find you again? Without turning, and even though she is at a distance, without turning, and even though she is at a distance, it is as if she is whispering in my ear, I find you when you need me, that is how it works. With that, she fades into the crowd. Chapter 10, Not So Hidden Gems. Sitting there a bit stunned, I'm not sure what to think. Is she an angel? This is a little weird. She knows a lot about me, shows up out of the blue, and knows things I haven't told her. I should be completely weirded out, but somehow I'm not. It's like I've always known her, like she's an old friend. Somehow a little more comforted by that thought, I stand up and walk towards the main entrance of the hospital to see Pop. As I get in the elevator, my mind is racing with wonder and happiness again. Like when I left the beach, life is now different. After I get off the elevator and walk into his room, my comforting moment quickly ends. I look at my father, and he looks so pale, so weak and tired. He is staring at the ceiling with half-closed eyes. I look at him with concern. Pop, how are you? Michael, he lifts his head, as if he's been awoken from a deep sleep, not knowing where he is. He waves his hand at me and then puts his head back down, as if he used up all his energy. I turn and look at the nurse who just entered the doorway. She looks at my father and waves at me to follow her into the hallway. Please wait out here, she says. I think I should go get the doctor. He isn't doing very well. My heart drops and breathing becomes difficult. The doctor approaches. What's going on, Doc? Well, we told you things couldn't take a turn at any time, and sadly they are. He's not eating, not trying, no longer fighting. We can keep giving him those fluids for a while, but at this rate, I'm sorry to say we are looking at the inevitable. The best thing we can do for him now is make sure he's comfortable and pain-free. How long, I ask? Well, it could be a week, a few days, maybe not even that. The only thing you can do is spend as much time as possible with him. I start sobbing with the realization that my father is going to die. It always seemed like a future type thought, but not anymore. Now it's here. I'm going to lose my dad. I walk back into the room and look at him. Barely opening his eyes, he looks at me and tries to muster a smile, still clenching the mirror I bought him. Michael, he whispers. He tries to move his hand up, but I see how much energy it takes. I reach out and hold his hand, which is still holding the mirror. Michael, it takes a whole breath to push out one word. Take, he pushes the mirror into my hand. Just rest, Pops. It's okay. Insistent, he grasps. Look into it, Michael. I do, as he says, and look in the mirror. He continues. Michael, all the answers are inside. Breathing heavily, he says, it's everything. I'll always be with you, and then closes his eyes. Pop, Pop. The nurses rush over, glance at the machine he's hooked up to, and puts her hand on my shoulder. He's stable, he's sleeping. There's not much more he can do today. That's the most I've seen him talk all day. She pauses, looks at him, and then at me. You should get your rest too. Go home. I will call you if anything changes. Not knowing what opens her arms and I collapse into her. She holds me as I cry uncontrollably. Sniffling and wiping tears from my face, I say I'm sorry. Why are you sorry, she asks. It's not easy when you think you're losing someone you love. I am losing him, I still say, choking back more tears. No, Michael, you can never lose him. True, his physical body will be gone, but his soul can't die. It just transitions. Sniffling, I ask, what do you mean? Even scientists have proven that matter changes and evolves, but never ceases. We are no different. We evolve, transition, and shed our bodies, but we continue on in many ways. I don't understand. Your father raised you, Michael. His mannerisms, how he thinks and moves, his beliefs, all that has been passed on to you. It's imprinted in you like a ball being passed to you. You take it and continue to travel with it in a new direction. This is the way we live on after we die. Some of you, you'll be able to accept that you won't understand. It is beyond our human understanding. Everything here, as she gestures to everything around us, has a beginning and an end. That's our only experience, and because that's all you understand, your brain can't understand otherwise, and our language doesn't reflect it. Can you really understand forever? No, your mind has to see an end point. It's not your fault, it's all you know. That's where faith comes in. Beliefs are very powerful. I interrupt her. He said the mirror is everything. What did he mean? That one is his gift for you to find out. So he's not just losing his mind. She laughs. No, not in this case. He is a wise man. He knows what he's talking about. She looks off in the distance, then back at me. Let's take a walk. Listen, Jeannie, I think you're amazing, but I really don't get who you are, why you're talking to me, or the things you say. What's your story here? Michael, have you ever gotten lost? When you do, you ask for directions, correct? Well, yes. Where is she going with this? Exactly. So you ask a stranger for directions, and they help you continue to your journey. She smiles. Consider me one of those strangers giving you directions. Thinking about what she is saying, I respond, but you seem like something more than that. Is the person who helps you with directions, or when you call a company and ask for help, is that really so different? You'll find that in life there are many people placed in your path to help and guide you. They just kind of show up. You never know how they will appear. Sometimes they seem angelic, she says with a smile, intentionally reminding me of what I called her. Other times you might be surprised to think that sometimes a person who you think is hurting you is actually here to help you, to teach you a lesson, to challenge you to make yourself better, or help you resolve or point out a weakness in you that you have to work on within yourself. The more they push your buttons, the more that you become aware of something within, and then have the opportunity to grow or better your skill. She pauses for a few moments, giving me time to absorb this before continuing. Do you remember when you hurt your shoulder? How do you know about that? I ask in surprise. You talk a lot when you're drunk, Michael. Slightly uncomfortable and wondering what else I might have said, I answer. Yeah, I tripped over a briefcase on the train. I screwed up my shoulder and have a year of my life. That's one perspective, she says, nodding. Let's look at it differently for a moment. What has happened in your life since then? Haven't some of the things that have happened been amazing? Have you ever considered that all those things happened because of that trip? I think for a moment. Well, because of my injury and the things I learned about exercise during physical therapy, I now go to the gym regularly and exercise more intelligently. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm in less pain than I ever was before. I am stronger. I can do things now that I couldn't do before because of the way I train. Exactly, she says. You do this because, with understanding, I reply, because after I injured myself, I became educated, methodical, and figured out what works best for my body. So, she says, as if knowing how I'll respond, was the briefcase a curse, or could it have been a gift? I am about to protest, but I see what she means. I guess none of the things that followed would have happened if I didn't trip. Correct. So you see, Michael, the briefcase is a blessing, understand? This is how life works. You have guides and angels everywhere helping you. Whether you choose to see it is up to the storyteller in your head. It may not feel like a blessing in the moment when something bad happens, at some point. I'm here to help. So, do I simply say thank you? You do, and when the time comes, you will take your thanks further by doing the same for someone else. Someone out there I've yet to meet, who may be 5 years old right now, who maybe you'll meet on a train and so forth. You just have to wake up a little more, she says, smiling. And someone did this for you. Yes, Michael, many people. They weren't always aware of it, nor was I at the time, but yes, there have been many. She stares for a bit. She continues, and as for your dad, spend the time you have with him. Love him and thank him for all he's given you, both good and bad. What shaped you to who you are today, and in turn, it will affect those who you help. Listen, I'm a bit skeptical. You make it seem like everyone is out to help Janie. I pause. Sorry, but the world isn't that kind. No, not at first glance, but what you choose to see and what you focus on becomes your reality. There is an old Buddhist philosophy called interest net. Picture a bag of pearls in the sky, each pearl shiny, reflective, and perfect. If you focused in on a pearl, what would you see? If it's shiny and reflective, I would see myself. Correct. One pearl reflects the next, which is reflecting others, and if you really look closely into the reflection of the pearl, you would see that the other pearls are being reflected. You could see the entire net reflected in one pearl, and if you looked even deeper into the reflection of that pearl within the pearl, you'll see the reflection of the pearl that you are actually staring at being reflected back, kind of like a hall of mirrors. Do you get what I'm saying? I think I do. Michael, look in my eyes. What do you see? Gorgeous brown, kind eyes, I say with a smile. Michael, she says sharply, as if not interested in my humor or anything deterring us from this conversation. Okay, I can see my reflection. That's right, and if you look at your eyes inside the reflection, you'll see me looking at you, looking at me. Wait a second, is this what Pop meant about the mirror? Not quite. What I'm telling you is more basic. What he said is much deeper. What did he mean? When you're ready, you'll understand. Learning occurs best through discovery. That's kind of what he said, actually. Abruptly leaving me in that thought, she says, I have to get going. Why don't we meet here next week around the same time? That would be great. Michael, don't get distracted. Think about what we've discussed. A lot was said, and it's important you understand this sooner than later. And with that, she gives me a kiss on the cheek and walks away. Okay, let me finish up with chapter 11, guys, and then we'll leave off on chapter 12 and then finish up from there. So chapter 11, Evolution. The next day I wake up and notify work that I'm not coming in before going straight to the hospital. Trying to calm my nerves, I realized that there were no phone calls during the night, which is obviously a good thing. When I get to the hospital, I walk by the kabok tree and look at it for a moment, remembering all its lessons. As I stand and reflect, I notice someone walking by with his head down, obviously lost in thought. As he passes, he looks at me and we make eye contact. I decide to flash a bright smile at him, and in response he smiles back. A thought hit me like a flash of lightning. Oh my god, the mirror, I get it. I sprint towards the entrance and run to my dad's room. As I approach the room, the nurse puts up both hands and stops me. I look over her shoulder and see Dr. Sprinkley moving inside his room, working on him. I look at the nurse in panic. What happened? He was asleep all night without any problems, she says, but he just went into cardiac arrest a few moments ago. We aren't sure what happened or why the sudden change. They are working on him right now. Just pray. But I need to talk to him. I need to tell him I got it, that I understand. Let the doctors do their job and pray, she says, trying to calm me. I watch from a distance as they work frantically to revive him. Tears stream down my face. I know this is it, but I pray that it's not. After about 10 minutes, I see the doctor slowing down and some beginning to leave the room. One doctor comes out of the room and walks towards me. He looks me in the eyes. I'm so sorry. Alright guys, we're gonna leave off here, but we're almost done. So yeah, we're gonna leave off on chapter 12. you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys would like this video, it would really help, and subscribe if you aren't already. That would also. Thank you so much.